I never thought that I'd say this, but the new live action How to Train Your Dragon might actually be better than the original. Let me tell you why as I give you my honest reaction in my movie review breakdown. The first reason why I think that the live action is better is because it's not a shot-for-shot remake. Now don't get me wrong, it's very close, but they do give this movie room to breathe and expand and contract where they thought that it was needed. This allows it to stay true to the original with it being able to be its own movie. Now this was most apparent when they gave a few characters and a couple of story arcs a little bit more depth. First, it helped to connect with some of these smaller characters on a deeper level. Second, it helped to give more context to one story arc in particular that helped you understand why one specific character felt the way that they did and had the reactions that they were having. And I think that it was a bit more implied in the original, but in this one, it's a bit more spelled out for the viewer. Now, there were a few scene tweaks and a couple of scenes from the original that were left out that I thought had no real impact on the story overall that was being told. Now, there was one scene that was left out that I could see people complaining about, saying that it was important to the plot. But for me personally, I just don't think it was critical to the story. And what I think happened was that it just got left on the cutting room floor for pacing and for runtime. It just didn't necessarily need to be there, and I think that's why it got left out. Now, the only people I really saw who had any issue with these changes were those who needed the movie to be a complete shot-for-shot remake with absolutely no changes whatsoever. If a single hair on someone's head was out of place, they would have complained and said the whole movie was trash. Are you one of those people who need it to be a perfect shot-for-shot remake? I would love to hear your reasoning down in the comments on why you think it needs to be that way for it to be a good movie. The second reason why I think that this was better than the original was because of the acting and the fact that it was live action. I personally can make better and deeper connections when I see real live people on screen instead of just animation. Now, maybe I'm the only one that's like that, but there are just small things like natural body language and facial expressions that really draw me in deeper to what's kind of happening on screen and resonate more with each of these characters. Now, a big part of that is tied to the acting. If the acting's bad, it's not really going to matter because there's going to be no type of connection at all. You can have the best story in the world, but if the acting's bad, it's just going to ruin it. Luckily, I thought the acting in this movie was great. Seeing Gerard Butler reprise his role as Stoic was just awesome. It really helped to bridge that gap between the original and the live action remake, as he was somebody who was in both. Mason Thames as Hiccup did just an outstanding job. He really made me buy into and believe that he was Hiccup, and his interactions on screen with Toothless were just really good. I also thought Nico Parker's role as Astrid was done extremely well. I know there were people who had issues with her appearance being different from the original character, but those differences don't define who that character is, and I think Nico Parker really captured the essence of Astrid. Do you think minor details like this being changed are really that important to the movie? I would love to hear your thoughts and thinking about it down in the comments. The third and final reason why I think that the live action was better than the original was because of the CGI. Now, I know this is going to sound weird as a reason, with this being a live action remake, but we know that there's going to have to be some CGI as dragons aren't real. And where I believed it shined the best was with how well the CGI blended with the live action. It really did feel seamless. My favorite example of this is when Hiccup is riding Toothless and they're hovering over water and dipping, diving, and weaving through canyons, many times at a really fast pace, and it's just done so well and really has an authentic feel to it. So it's because of these reasons why I believe that the live action remake is better than the original. Now, with that being said, they are very close. I'm probably just splitting hairs here. I mean, both of these movies are absolutely fantastic. The reason that I give the edge to the live action remake is because if both of these movies were being released today for the very first time and people were watching both of them for the very first time, I think that they would choose the live action remake as the better movie. And I think the main reason that people would pick the original over the live action is just because of nostalgia. And I completely get it. It makes perfect sense. minutes, as people already have that emotional connection to that version of the movie. That's why I believe if people saw them for the first time at the same time, they would choose the live action over the animated version. Now, which version do you think you would have chosen if you were able to see them both for the first time at the same time? As for my rating, I'm going to give this movie an 8.7 out of 10. I think this was a really good movie all the way around. Now, if I had to be a little bit nitpicky, I would say that the second quarter of the movie could have had a little bit better pacing, and if it did, maybe I would have bumped my rating up to a 9 out of 10. Now, the critics on Rotten Tomatoes have given this movie a 78%, and there wasn't enough reviews yet in the audience score for there to be an audience rating, but from what I was able to see in the reviews, I think it's going to come in somewhere north of 90% and probably going to fall around somewhere at 95%. IMDb has it at an 8.1 out of 10, which feels like a respectable score and in line with everything that I have been seeing. Now, if you enjoyed today's review, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future movie reviews and movie trailer reviews. Speaking of movie trailers, why don't you check out my movie review for the family movie Elio that hits theaters in just a few short weeks. You can check that out right here. Now, I hope each and every one of you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next review.